Well, Happy New Year, first of all.
Happy New Year
Yep.
again.
Going to be a great year. And for our first episode, we're doing the top 5 James Cameron movies, which, I didn't realize there were that few, but I think, like you said, we'll have a lot in common. So this should be interesting. The order, anyway.
Yes, the only thing should differ is the order.
Yes. So what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Avatar.
Okay. I did not put this on my list, actually. So
Really?
we're already
Okay.
one off.
There we go again. All right. So, this was 2009 when he made this.
Yep.
The story wasn't that great. That's probably why it was my number 5. I mean, it was like a typical, it was a love story where, the guy was like the man, he was an outcast.
Mhm.
He had to prove himself in her tribe. So to me, it was like based on like Indian lore or something like that.
That makes sense. And then kind of the whole environmental aspect of it as
Yeah.
well.
So
But
the big thing with this movie obviously was having the people look the same when they transformed and stuff.
yeah, the effects were pretty cool in that regard.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the actress who played the alien that he falls in love with, but she did a really good job. And then of course there's Sigourney Weaver was in it, and all kinds of people that are in Cameron movies a lot playing like the background roles. But yeah, it was like a kind of a cool concept that especially the guy who had a disability gets to have a new body in a way, being the avatar. So yeah, and then the whole ICU thing, it had some cute stuff in it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cute movie. I mean,
Yeah.
the love story, like I said, wasn't really that much different.
Hmm.
I mean, the movie made like tons of money.
Right. Yeah, it was huge. Like that was the thing that was a little puzzling to me, like how huge it got.
Yeah, it
But
was it was a Cameron movie.
yeah, I guess that's it. I
I mean,
mean,
the weird thing, I saw this movie maybe 3 times.
mhm.
The last time I saw it was in Thailand.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, Kenny
Mhm.
took us to Thailand. Yeah, I
Yeah,
already saw the movie before that and stuff like that. But
right.
the budget for this movie was 237 million.
Right.
It grossed 2,789,000,000
That's
six
pretty good.
hundred and 79. Yeah,
Not a bad profit.
yeah, right,
So that's why he's making so many sequels.
right. It won 3 out of 9 Academy Awards nominations.
Okay. All
Okay.
special effects stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It was mostly because of that. I mean that was like revolutionary what he did.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
But yeah, I guess like you said, the story wasn't that well formed, and
right.
that's why it didn't.
It was the rendering, with the characters and stuff like that. I
Right.
mean, they look so real.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
You
Well,
know, and even like we said, like the girl, like when she had tears coming out of her eyes and stuff. I
mhm.
mean, it was just like it was amazing from that standpoint.
Yeah.
And then what they could do,
Hmm. Indeed.
and then the flying with those big bird things that they had to hook up to. It was all like they were hooking up with that
Hmm.
cord thing,
Right.
you know,
Right. Yeah.
and then becoming one with it.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it had a good mythology behind it also.
Yeah, that's true.
So like in Star Wars had a mythology,
Right, right.
and this had a mythology.
Yeah, this was Cameron trying to make his Star Wars, basically. It makes sense.
Yeah, but
Uh, that's
it
cool.
made a lot of money, and he's going to be making a lot of sequels. He
Yeah,
already made two that haven't been released, and there's a third one in production.
crazy. Well,
I
that could
know.
dramatically change our Cameron list in the future, but for now, I think, yeah, I mean, I just put it as an honorable mention. Uh,
Okay.
so my
All right.
number
So
five is
yeah,
True Lies.
yeah, I know. That's my honorable mention.
Ah, okay, okay. So the rest
I,
might all be the same. We'll see.
yeah. Well, it's going to depend now on the
Yeah,
which one it goes. I mean,
right.
he really hasn't made that
That's
many
true.
movies, but
Yeah,
you
but
know,
True Lies was a fun one. That's I would call it, if Avatar was his Star Wars, this is like just his fun popcorn movie. I mean, it was just a ridiculous premise, really. Schwarzenegger playing this spy that his wife has no idea what he does for a living, and then she finds out and then wants to become a spy herself via Bill Paxton's ridiculous character.
I
That
know.
he's so great in this.
Yeah, like when they capture her.
Yeah, yeah. And then when Schwarzenegger makes Paxton pee on himself or whatever, and then Tom Arnold is great as the sidekick for Schwarzenegger, because he's just always, grounding the movie in humor throughout. But I mean, there's tons of funny things in the movie, especially with Jamie Lee Curtis. Her character, the things she ends up doing, and
Yeah, it was a great cast and it was a real fun movie. I must
yeah.
have seen that movie at least 10 times.
Really, I
Yeah,
don't think
it's
I've seen it a couple times. It's been a long time since I've seen it, actually, but I know I would probably enjoy it just as much.
yeah. I mean, it did make my list, my top five only because uh, it didn't have all those other things that
Yeah,
my top five Cameron movie has. So
right.
yeah, but it was a great movie.
Yeah, yeah. I almost didn't pick it either because I didn't want to like over Schwarzenegger my list, but it was too fun to do.
Yeah,
So
I would like to say, that it was because, too, that, because he was out of character, but he wasn't. I mean, he's
yeah.
played other comedy roles
Oh, sure.
and
Yeah.
things like that too. So, but I mean, you always think of him, in, as a soldier,
Right. Yeah, this was what was cool, I guess. I didn't really think about that till just now, is like he did all these comedy movies like Kindergarten Cop and Twins, but those were
right.
like straight comedy. This was probably one of the first times where he mixed the action and the comedy in equal measure, and it worked
Yeah.
out pretty well.
I mean, and there was some really good action scenes too,
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
the end with the helicopter.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Of course, very over the top, but yeah, has to be. All right, so what's your number four?
My number four, and I must have seen this movie like 10 times too.
Yes.
The Abyss.
Ah, okay. I have that higher.
Yeah. 1989.
Yep.
Uh, there was hardly any CGI in this movie. The amazing thing that with this movie was, for me, was the water.
Yeah.
That when the water collects into a beam, and then it's like moving around the ship and stuff like that. Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't a ship, it was,
Right, right. The submarine type, whatever they were using in the oil rig industry.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I mean,
so
they were like
cool.
totally underwater.
Yeah.
uh and then when they went outside and everything was like black and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
mean, it looked like they were really out there.
Oh yeah, the effects were amazing. Not just the aliens, but yeah, like you said, all the different underwater scenes, and then Ed Harris was awesome in this. He's always great, but
Yeah. And then
Mary,
the guy with the pet mouse.
right? Yeah, yeah. Hippie was the character's name. He was
Yeah.
great because you had all these different characters that you kind of get to love throughout the movie, and then uh, the wife, or is it ex-wife? I can't remember. I think they were still married, but they were thinking about ending it. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio, I think is the name.
Yeah.
Um, she played really well as like this, very headstrong woman,
Right.
and then of course you got the Navy SEALs that end up going insane. The Michael Bean, who's in
Yeah.
other Cameron movies, he was really good. Lieutenant Coffee.
And
So,
then they had to drink that liquid
oh right,
into
yeah,
their lungs, not drink it. They had to get it
breathe it
into the lung so that they could breathe underwater.
to go really deep diving. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there were so many elements to this that was so cool. The special edition version actually is pretty cool too, because it gives you more insight as to what the aliens, what they were all about.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody hasn't seen the movie and they want to watch the movie, they have to do the extended version.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's worth checking out.
I mean, the ending was great,
Hmm.
but you had questions in your mind.
Right.
So the extended version actually expands on that ending, so
Yeah.
it becomes clearer as exactly what the ending was.
Yeah, I still loved it. I mean, the original, the mystery of it, I thought was kind of cool. But either way, I mean, yeah, it's definitely one of his best. So yeah, so I have it significantly higher. But so my number four is another movie that involves water quite a bit, and that would
Okay.
be the 1997 epic Titanic,
Yes.
which you have
That
higher, I'm guessing.
that's my number three.
Ah, okay. Very
So
good.
so yeah, we could I guess we could discuss it now and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This movie was made only because Cameron was obsessed with the
Hmm.
Titanic.
Right.
And he actually made this movie because he wanted to go to the Titanic.
Yeah. Right. To do more of like a documentary type thing.
Yeah, I mean, he's done more documentaries probably than he has done movies.
Right.
And he's been to the Titanic multiple times,
Hmm.
mainly thanks to this movie
Right.
because he made so much money on it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Talk about a blockbuster. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, it cost 200 million to make, and
Yeah.
he made 2 billion plus on it.
Good Lord. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
It
But
won
yeah,
11 out of 14 Oscars.
wow. Insane. And
Right.
crazy to think that out of all of those, I don't even think DiCaprio was nominated for Best Actor, right?
Yeah, I believe he was not.
Yeah,
He was
that's
like
insane.
left out.
Yeah, yeah. Which I mean, I guess at the time there was probably just a lot of DiCaprio backlash because he was this young kid that everyone was like, "Who is this guy?" But he really was great,
Yeah.
as he always is.
We might have to check on that because I think she did not get the award.
No, no, Winslet did.
Winslet
She
did.
was nominated, and I think she
Okay.
won. I'm pretty sure. And then I think the the actress that plays the older version of her was even nominated and won. Uh, which is funny. But yeah, I mean it was good. It's to me it doesn't have that much repeat value because it's so long and it's so sad. uh
Well, the thing was, it it the movie was around the love story,
yes.
you know, between the two of them.
And the Celine
So
Dion song.
right, but the movie was really about the Titanic.
Right. Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
know, so he put in as many facts as he could. I mean, a lot of people were like guessing about certain aspects of how the Titanic sank. But
Right.
apparently he got it right when he said, that the ship broke right in the middle, you
Right.
know,
Yeah, I mean that part is really
and then went down.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, he had a lot of the grandeur of the Titanic in there. I mean, the eating areas, that staircase,
Mhm.
you know, was unbelievable that he actually reproduced and stuff like that.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, of course, again, goes without saying for Cameron movies, but the effects were, a huge element of the movie. And yeah, when it sank, it was just like, oh man, you feel like you're going through it.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, even when like he pitched the movie to Fox, he
mhm.
said it was a Romeo and Juliet in the ocean.
Okay. That's probably how DiCaprio ended up getting cast because he had just done that new version of Romeo and Juliet, the Baz Luhrmann movie. So interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely it has to be on the list, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it was number one in box office for 15 consecutive weeks.
yeah. Wow, crazy. So, okay, so that's your number 3. So my number 3 is Terminator 2, Judgment Day from 1991. Uh, I chose this one instead of the original, which I know you may have gone the other way with this. Uh,
Yes. Actually, that's my number one, Terminator.
what? Oh, wow. You just went straight for the number 1, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Well, you jumped to it because you said it. So I'm just letting you know that it's my number one.
all right, fine. Well,
So it means that our number ones and twos are,
yeah. Interesting. All
yeah,
right. Well, yeah, I picked Terminator 2 because I really liked the sequel better, even though the first one was really cool and set up the whole franchise. But I really enjoyed more. It's not that it had really that much more humor or anything. Of course, you had the "Hasta la Vista, baby" and all that,
Well,
but
I mean, probably the biggest thing about it, and one of the reasons why it was my number one, was because it had more tech in it than the first one. The guy that could uh, morph
right,
into anything.
right. Yeah, the Robert ah man, what's his last name? I forget. But he was great in it. I mean, just this unstoppable force. Um he was like even more terrifying than Schwarzenegger was in the first one, I thought.
Yeah, yeah.
And so wait, to be clear, you put Terminator 1 as your number 1 or 2?
Terminator 2.
Oh, okay, cool.
I
So
don't
we
think
are on the
Cameron,
same
I
page.
don't think Cameron directed number one.
No, I'm pretty sure he did both.
Did you sure? Okay. No, number
But
two.
okay, cool. So we are on the same page. All right,
Yeah, we are on the same page. Yes.
very
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
I mean,
the stakes were raised because yeah, you had this better version of the Terminator after them, and then you've got the original Terminator sent to protect them, and then Linda Hamilton, like she
yeah,
was like,
Superwoman.
yeah, man, she went from in the first one being this meek, scared person to being like this badass action hero herself.
Yeah, I mean, she was supposed to bring her son up as as the savior of the world
Right.
in the future, and in the first episode, she was this like meek, mousy woman,
Right.
and then she turned into like Superwoman.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I wasn't the kid. I think it was Edward Furlong. I wasn't that crazy about his performance, but whenever he had those like emotional moments between him and the Arnold, those were really good, I thought. and gave a little more emotional weight to it, especially at the end when he has to terminate himself or whatever. So yeah, and really cool action. And talk about special effects. Yeah, like you
Yeah.
said, when the morphing and all that,
I
nothing
mean,
like that had been done.
the last 45 minutes of the movie was totally action packed. There was one
Yeah.
action scene right after another.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it started at Cyberdyne,
Hmm.
I can't remember. Then
Yeah.
it went into a freeway chase. Then it was in that foundry.
Hmm.
And in
Yeah.
between, there was motorcycles, helicopters, you
Yeah.
know,
And that, yeah.
guns, liquid nitrogen.
Yes,
You
the
name
liquid nitrogen part is so cool, man.
I know. Yeah.
Awesome.
The last 45 minutes of the movie was just like one action scene after another. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
That's why I put it as my number one.
Okay. Well, we might have our two in common then, which is for me is Aliens. Is that your number two?
That's my number two.
Okay, very good. So yeah, talk about action packed yet again. Yeah, Aliens. So the I can give away my number one now is The Abyss,
Right.
obviously, but yeah, Aliens. Man, I mean, again, taking another, and this one, the original was directed by Ridley Scott, but
Right.
taking another movie and making it, to me, Aliens is better, but just making it different, making it his own.
Yeah.
And
They were like different.
yeah,
But I mean, it would be a big argument to say which one was better, number one or number two.
right,
I think number one was more of a horror film than number two was.
right.
Yeah, to me, number two was just like killing the aliens.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um,
Although the Queen Mother was I think the big part of that movie.
right, yeah. But yeah, this one was also about all the side characters. Again, the great Bill Paxton with his whole thing of "Game over, man, game over," and and being like scared. But then once he's in there, he's like, you know, killing so many aliens, and just the ridiculous amount of aliens was just ridiculous. And then you got Paul Reiser playing like the jerk that essentially set them up to be on this place. And then also the relationship between Sigourney Weaver and the little girl, Newt. So and then her line was, they mostly come out at night, mostly. There's all kinds of famous lines in this movie, but yeah, it was definitely awesome from start to finish. This is probably the one of his, besides The Abyss, that I've seen the most.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably one of all the common things that we denominator in all the movies that we just talked about is
Mm-hmm.
that there's a strong female main character.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, yeah. Sigourney Weaver. If you did a list of like strongest female characters, I think Ripley from Alien and Aliens would have to be number one,
Yeah,
and then maybe Linda Hamilton at number two.
yeah. And then you got Linda Hamilton number two,
Yeah,
and what's her name, and The Abyss.
yeah, right, right. Yeah, I forget the character's name, but Mary. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, yep,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, she was a strong character also.
Yeah, but going back to The Abyss now, since it's my number one,
Yeah.
that scene where she drowns and they have to revive her, man, that is like
Oh yeah.
that's such an intense scene. And Ed Harris, I don't know whose idea it was for him to like lose it and start smacking her around and all that. Like, wake up. It
Well,
was
they had a
great.
former relationship, so they
Yeah.
probably did that in the past. No.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's what, like, the Abyss to me, like, has a little bit of everything, and um and more, in a way, because um especially like when you know what the special edition is about, it's kind of like this whole war and peace thing. Um that seems like such a huge theme. You know, movies like Terminator 2 and Aliens, they kind of get stuck in the action, whereas this gets to explore deeper things. And the love relationship was really strong in that as well. So this is going to be interesting combining, because
I know.
so you had Abyss at 4 and I had it at 1. Terminator 2 you have at 1 and I have at 3. So I would actually say Terminator 2 we could put at 1 and Abyss at 2. And then that would mean Aliens would have to be 3. And then what do we have? Oh, then I guess Titanic would have to be 4, because that's our next in common. So now it's between. So we did have 4 in common. All right.
Yeah, but we had to have four in common.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's between True Lies and Avatar. I think we're going to have to letterbox this, because we both had it at 5. Let's see. True Lies is a 3.5. This is going to be close. Avatar is only a 3.3, so True Lies makes it.
But if you go by gross sales,
Well, that's true, but yeah, we're not doing that.
well, yeah, I mean, that was your number 5 and it was my number 5. So,
Right, yeah. So there's really no honorable mentions at this point.
no, since they were all on the list.
Exactly. So, but yeah, this is a pretty good list, I gotta say. So the official reading of the top 5 James Cameron movies of all time. Here we go. At number 5, True Lies. At number 4, Titanic. At number 3, Aliens. At number 2, The Abyss. And number 1, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yeah. It's pretty good.
Right. And just revisit us in a year after all the other
All the other avatars come out.
come out in Avatars 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, personally, I doubt that the list will change much after that happens. But yeah, very good. Okay. So next week, are we starting into the 80s? Best movies of 1980?
Yeah, I guess. So what do we do in 1980?
Yes.
Not,
This is going to be good.
not 80s.
Right,
80.
right. Just 80. We're starting it up. It's going to be good.
All right.
All right, sweet. Looking forward to it. And hey, if anyone's watching, if you're first time, if you like it, subscribe. And we've got 30 other episodes, so you can binge watch us at this point. Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you on the next one. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, bye.